Lessons from the Super Bowl that the Buffalo Bills can kind of take to the bank. The thing that sticks out to me is the offensive lines. Is that you can build these lines and you can do it like the Rams did rather quickly.
Yeah, you can. You can build up a line, and some of it is certainly is coaching, is scheme. New England has always been, Dante Scarnecchia has been their offensive line coach, I think, 16 of the last 17 years. They always seem to have that. You also have Tom Brady, and with the Rams, you have a system where the ball comes out usually pretty quickly, and that helps every offensive line. I don't know if you go by anything New England does, right? The way they go about doing their business, because it all just seems to get back to the point where here we are again in the Super Bowl, no matter what the talent level is that they have. But I think the Bills are fully aware, and it's funny, even when they were good on the offensive line, remember the criticism a few years ago, they're aging and unathletic, and the guys got all upset about it. But it really was not a very athletic offensive line, and I think that's where the game has changed, even from the inside out. I think you'll notice that in this game. Everybody used to go, oh, tackle, get your big tackle, spend all this money. I think they're looking more in the interior of the line. I think that's the lesson the Bills will learn in order to help Josh Allen going forward.
You know, Brady is the default thing. Everyone goes, it's all Tom Brady. But there's a lot of teams in the NFL that have got quality franchise quarterbacks and don't have that track record. So I think it cheapens the whole outlook thing if you just lay it at the feet of one guy.
Well, you lay it at the feet of Brady and Belichick together, right? Like, very rarely do you have a coach and a quarterback come together to have the success based on scheme that exploits the talents that person has, and I think that's what they have. But I mean, if the question is the lesson that the Bills are going to learn, it's a painful one. It's that the cohesion of a general manager and a head coach is very important because, listen, there are, at least for AFC NFC Championship weekend, a ton of former Bills on those rosters. Nickel Roby-Coleman and Robert Woods are playing in the Super Bowl, right? Ramon Humber is playing in the Super Bowl with the Patriots. Sammy Watkins was a wide receiver, he's playing with the Chiefs, right? At what point is Doug Whaley going to get a little bit of credit for the players that he was able to take? Like the story was when he was together with Rex, they weren't meshing together, and that's why the players weren't working. It's not so much having the good players. It's having a head coach and a general manager on the same page to use them in the right way. Hopefully, and it seems this way, that we have that now in Buffalo. But to see these guys that you took in the top 3-4 rounds having the success on this grand stage, it's not great for the franchise, for Pagula, but it does redeem Whaley a little bit.
That's an interesting take. Whaley being spoken of in a positive vein doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the teams that were in the playoffs in the NFL, I mean, a lot of them had really good offensive lines, whether they had the big names or not. The Colts' biggest reason for their turnaround this year and the reason they got into the playoffs was their offensive line. Obviously, Andrew Luck was healthy and that helped, but he stayed on his feet. That's really important. If your offensive line can block, you can do a lot more different things, and that really limited what the Bills could do offensively last year because Josh Allen was constantly running for his life, literally.
Yeah, and the interior that's what we're saying is such a big deal, and that's I was listening to a scout talk about the difference between the interior and the outside of the line, and he said you can help a tackle. It's hard to help an interior lineman, and if you're constantly getting beat up the middle, and that's what you said about Brady. That's what they've been able to avoid. If you're constantly having that pressure come up the middle, it makes it tough on every quarterback. It's hard to chip for a guard. You can do it for a tackle. So don't be surprised if the Bills put resources, draft, and also free agency into the interior of the line.